Okay, gentlemen. Today we will both be showcasing your industry and its benefits to the country. You'll each have 1 minute to explain your industry and its worth. Biofuel, since you are the new industry to the table, you will be going first. Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to start off today by talking about how algae can convert carbon in the atmosphere into renewable energy. Through photosynthesis, carbon can be converted into oil and biomass, which can then be used in creating feedstocks to produce omega-3 fatty acid oils and animal feed and biofuels. In 2016, the United States demand for liquid fuels was around 19.6 million barrels a day. Studies show that in order to meet the demand for liquid fuels, 4% of the U.S. total land area would need to be dedicated to these algal farms. 17% of the total land area is already dedicated to agriculture, and 3% left untouched, and 17% are open grasslands and pastures. With 3% left untouched, we would only need to take 1% away from either agriculture or grasslands, or 0.5% from both. At the Algal Research Facility in Kona, Hawaii, studies have calculated that algae farms can produce 0.5 barrels hectare daily, which is where the 4% of total land needed comes from. In order to maximize usage of land, a Cornell professor and his team designed a facility that can not only produce biofuels, but also be set up as a combined synergistic facility that would have a variety of outputs. These outputs include raw protein, and the ponds could also serve as feed for aquaponics center, allowing for more sustainable fish farming. Not only could this lower the demand for fishing, allowing the ocean species to rebuild their populations, but the raw protein could be used for foreign aid. The average U.S. diet already has an abundance of protein. This allows the raw protein to be used in aid from impoverished countries or regions. For many people in these places, these small dosage of protein in their daily diet could be the difference between life and death. Another potential upside to algal farms is the cost. With the installation of the Carbon Capture and Utilization Act of 2016, the cost of managing these facilities would be greatly reduced. This would also create thousands of jobs across the country and lowered cost and higher income, which would mean more steady, high-paying jobs. This money could also be used for benefits, which would entitle many Americans and their families to affordable health care and future retirement plans or pensions. Thank you for the interesting and in-depth information. Fossil fuels, you are the leading energy source in not only our country, but the world. What information can you provide with us today? Well, Mr. President, I thought you would never ask. The first thing that this biofuel chemist will tell you about fossil fuels is that it is not renewable. Think about this. They will have to make tons of biofuels when fossil fuels are already just laying around the world waiting to be uncovered. We are taught in school that our environment is great and that we humans inherently ruin it. I say we maximize it. Fossil fuels make up for 62.5% of the United States' total energy source and is just laying around the world waiting to be used. Nature does not provide us as humans with a safe environment. We have learned that it is harsh, cold, and unforgiving. Up until the late Industrial Revolution, we lived in an environment that was low on usable resources and high on danger. Today's industrial environment is the cleanest and healthiest in recorded history. You want to see dirty? Go to countries that have not yet had their industrial revolutions, and you will find water streams with bacterial infections. This could also change in an instant, leaving you with no temperature control or protection. With fossil fuels, we have been able to provide our citizens with stability, homes, and a steady income. 1.3 billion people live without electricity, which means no light at night, no heating, no air conditioning, and no clean water. With fossil fuels, we have been able to create the healthiest, safest possible environment. More affordable, reliable energy means less stress, less bills missed, and less F's on the test for youth. Environmentalists will tell you the future is solar wind, windmills, but those have been the biggest failures of the last century. Fossil fuels produced a total profit of $181 billion last year. Well, that is hard to argue with. Biofuels, you will have 30 seconds to give a counter argument. Fossil fuel. You say that we have learned that nature is harsh, cold, and unforgiving. Well, I believe that it is also beautiful, prosperous, and vital. Did you know that the ocean produces 2/3 of total oxygen in our atmosphere, and that fossil fuels fill our atmosphere with carbon dioxide, causing ocean acidification, which has led to coral bleaching, among a number of other detrimental effects to the ocean? Corals are the leading oxygen product. Oxygen is needed for us to breathe. How do you feel about slowly suffocating the world, slowly running our resources into the ground, Resources like food, natural land, things we need a lot more than fossil fuels. Biofuels could render fossil fuels completely useless and still support the country's energy demands while having virtually no effect on the environment. Well, biofuel, that is a pretty unbeatable argument. I will give fossil fuel the same duration of time, but at this point, honestly, it's going to take a miracle to change my mind. Fossil fuels? Well, sir, biofuel gave a nice speech, but that does not take away from the fact that fossil fuels make up for 62.5% of the United States' total energy daily. I think this might be out of line, but save it. Fossil fuels have been the leading cause for many of our environmentalist problems, not just in our country, but worldwide. Tell your boss that I would like to sever all ties and be fossil fuel free by 2030. Now please leave, sir. Sorry about that. Biofuels, please give your boss my regards and tell him I will be in touch soon to work out the fine details of our plan. Sir?